In this video, we're going to look at centripetal force and centripetal acceleration. Both of them come under circular motion. So what is a motion in a circle? So in this example, we have a car, and the car is just moving around in a circle. So the problem you'll be dealing with, the car will be traveling in constant speed. So if the car moves around the circle of radius r, then the circumference of the circle is 2 pi the radius. The time taken for this car to move all the way around back to the same place, so let's say if this is the mark and the car goes all the way around and comes back to the same place, is called a period. So the period is given at capital T. So if we want to work out the speed of this car, we need to divide the distance divided by time, in this case a period, time taken to do the complete loop. So it comes out as V is equal to 2 pi r divided by t. So the period is given a symbol t, frequency is given a symbol f. So period is time taken to do a complete loop. Frequency is how much of that loop is completed in a second. A period is measured in seconds. Frequency is measured in hertz or per second. So these two units are equivalent. So what does 1 hertz means? So that means in a second it has done one complete loop. So it has done a complete loop in a second. So 1 hertz means that in a second it has done a complete loop. 0.5 hertz means in a second it has done half the loop. So the period and the frequency are connected to each other by this formula. So period is 1 divided by f. So let's look at the period for these two. So if we look at 1 hertz, so if we put it into the formula, t is equal to 1 divided by f, so our frequency is 1 hertz. So 1 divided by 1 is 1 second. So that matches with our diagram. It takes 1 second to do a one complete loop. So it has a period of 1 and frequency of 1 hertz. So if it has a frequency of 0.5 hertz, 1 divided by 0.5 is 2 hertz. So it takes 2 seconds to complete a one complete loop. So if we go back to this diagram, it's done 0.5 of the loop in 1 second. So it will do another 0.5 in another second. So in total, in 2 seconds, it will done a complete loop. So if the car moves around in this circle, it must have a centripetal force. A centripetal force is always acts towards the center. So there'll be a centripetal force towards the center of this circle. And this centripetal force for this car will be produced by the friction on the tires. So the friction on the tires is causing this car, when it's turning, to follow this circular path by acting a force towards the center of this circle. So let's say what happens if suddenly you have turned all the friction off, for example in ice. So if you do that, the car will not have centripetal force down the center. So the car will keep on going straight. So that'll be its velocity and the path it will take if the friction was turned off. So force and acceleration is towards the center of the circle. But the velocity is 90 degrees to the force and acceleration at any point along this circle. So if I draw another spot, it will have force and acceleration towards the center of the circle, and also V will be 90 degrees to that path. And also, just be careful, in this diagram I have drawn A and F at slightly different places, but they are all acting on the same place towards the center, same direction. So for example, the perfect way to draw this would be to draw force and acceleration right on each other. So if the car is moving around in constant speed around the circle, and it will have acceleration towards the center, and that acceleration is given is equal to v squared, that's the speed squared, divided by the radius of that circle. So now we can work out the force. So force is equal to mass times acceleration, and we know the acceleration is v squared divided by r. So we can substitute this into this formula to get the force F, which is acting towards the center of the circle, mv squared divided by r. Note, this speed here, it's always constant in all the problems you'll be dealing with. And this is a perfect circle, not like a little bit of oval like I have done in my bad drawing. So all of these are perfect circles. So it will have a circumference of 2 pi r